a dish that always makes me think of home is a roast chicken. Um, my mom just always makes it, and it's so good. I don't know how you make a roast chicken taste so good.
I think comfort food is food that has a lot of memory tied with that person. So I think it really depends on who's talking about comfort food. But when I think of it, I think of some things that remind me of home.
I think it's, I don't know, I feel like it's a family thing. No, like if what your family, what your parents used to give you, or what's always in the house is comfort food for you.
I mean, you wouldn't choose as your comfort food something that was not in your repertory of known things. And when you say familiarity, it also means family. So those two words are related as familiar to my family life.
It's not necessarily emotion, but I think of my mom when I think comfort food. Because since coming to college, the hardest thing to do is to cook for myself. I mean, I still need to eat, but it's like a lot of work. I need to like prepare the food, cook the food, and then wash the dishes. Like my mom didn't like tell me how hard it is because she just did it for me the whole time, and I never had to worry.
So I come home from college my first time, I'm a freshman, she makes a chicken. And it's just so like satisfying. It's a whole bird that's in the oven. It's a really relaxed cooking process. I think comfort food is food that just makes you feel at peace and calm and like you're somewhere familiar, no matter where you might be.
You can have a specific memory of a moment when somebody gave you something you really needed. I remember in China, I was so hot. It was midsummer. And somebody gave me a hot cup of tea, and I thought, oh, this can't work. This is terrible. What an awful idea. I need iced tea, right? No, it worked. It worked, and that became, oh, you can take care of yourself with hot tea in hot weather. So that, a moment can change it, but also an accumulation of moments, an accumulation of experiences with a given food over time makes it become your comfort.
One of the things that I always kind of find myself going to, no matter if I'm like cold, if it's winter, if I'm sad, if I'm a little lonely or something, I always just start dreaming about a big bowl of pasta. And I'm not really sure why I have that relationship with it. I think it's just always something that my mom would make after a long day at the end of a week. I always make it every like Friday. If I'm tired, I'll just like make a nice bowl of pasta and relax, and I'm just rewarding myself for making it through the week.
And then there's the cooking itself. I mean, cooking is such a great pleasure if you let it be. And that's part of eating. You've made it, or somebody you know has made it, and the whole process is there on the plate too.
I think you can either like really infuse food with meaning by like making the food with the people you love or for the people you love or with them in mind. Even I think it's really all about the connection. So
I always harken back to the inspiration that my grandparents gave me living with them on a farm, growing, and my grandmother was a great cook, and my grandfather did the gardening, and I would help him on a daily basis.
My my comfort food is called buta no kakuni. That's Japanese, and it means braised pork belly. And it's essentially pork belly that's simmered in soy sauce, sake, um, and some mirin, and also other vegetables. And that and a very, just like a warm bowl of rice is literally all I need in my life. And it's something that my mom um, wouldn't always make. She just kind of like, she'll make when she knows that I need it.
I helped my grandfather slaughter the chickens, and having fresh roasted chicken, just all those memories really inspired me to such a degree. We got free range chickens in, and we had it and we tried it, and I was in tears because it was brought back all my memories of my childhood, and I didn't realize how that impression had stuck with me. It's like so amazing.
And then when I took a bite, like I was almost in tears because it reminded me of so much of home. And since my parents have moved back to Seattle since coming to college, so I don't really get to go home that often. Japanese food is one of the things I miss the most, especially Japanese food that I eat at home.
And, comfort food to me could be a bowl of miso soup because I love miso soup. It's incredibly comforting. And children in Japan, that's what mom is, her bowl of miso soup. And it is for me. Anything that has rice is comfort food for me.
My family is from Taiwan, and I grew up all over the place, but Taiwanese food has always been the center of my life. I try to run away from it, but as I get older, I realize you just can't. There's times where you just have to, your mind just goes to Taiwanese food and you just want that soup.
Family and comfort are generally associated with each other because, your home is where you go when you need people and you need the assurance of unconditional love and you need the promise that you will be taken care of and nurtured. So of course that's related to food. When you're a kid, it's where you do most of your eating. As you grow up, your sense of where to go for comfort might change. It may not be home anymore. You might be fighting with your parents. You may hate the family meal because everybody's fighting all the time. So your comfort can be in your friends. And what you and your friends come up with as comfort is also quite valid as comfort food. You go away to college, you obviously have a new environment altogether in which to think about where you get your support, where you get your nurturance, and where you go for, where you go basically to eat enough food to feel less lonely away from your family. That's where the freshman 15 comes in.
In Taiwan, we have a lot of street food, and there's rice, there's noodles and stuff like that, and it's just something so common that you go for lunch or after work, or you go with family or go with friends, and you just sit there and you eat and drink, and it's something so simple.
Eating is convivial because you eat with other people. At least you should a lot of the time, as far as possible. Eating is sort of social. It is also just plain fun. The idea of satisfying yourself with a plate of food and being interested in it, looking at the colors, looking at the textures, feeling the mouthfeel of something. I mean, you've got the engagement of more than one sense. The idea of a lot of good food is to satisfy lots of senses.
This is actually very embarrassing because okay, so like I said, Taiwanese people love noodle, love soup, which means we love instant noodle. So my parents are like that forever, and then we were always like, come on, we're in France, we should have French food. We're in Japan, we should have Japanese food. We're in America, we should have American food. But wherever my parents go, they will always have instant noodle in their suitcase. And then we will always find them, cooking instant noodle in the hotel room.
People send tons of instant ramen. Ramen is food everybody knows, and it's a food that you resort to. It's like, okay, if all else fails, I'll always have the instant ramen.
But I'm being serious. Once you get older, you will slowly realize it is in your blood, it is in your mind, it is something you cannot run away from. Like, you're just gonna go anywhere in the world with your instant noodle, with your rice. You won't eat something that you're not familiar with. I don't think it will make you feel comfortable. I don't think it will bring any emotional trigger when you're eating something that you are just completely unfamiliar with. So yeah, I think comfort food definitely links with emotion.
I wouldn't want to keep eating if I couldn't have those feelings toward food. I think it's just what really brings a value to food are the memories that you have associated with it and the emotions that you have associated with it.